The Marathon Server Slam is right here on the horizon, with the launch literally being right around the corner, and there are several things that I want for you all to keep in mind as you all jump into Marathon. No matter if you are a new extraction shooter enthusiast or if you are an experienced veteran, I think these will be useful for you. The first thing I want you to do and/or keep in mind will be to decide yourself or your team's win condition before jumping into a raid. Now, if you don't know what a win condition is, it's when you set a primary objective, and by the way, this can be anything. This could be completing contracts, taking several PvP fights, looking for a certain piece of loot and/or equipment on the map. This can be learning the map. It can literally, again, be whatever you want. Once you complete whatever that objective is, then you all have free reign to flow into a secondary objective or just get on up out of there. I will say one thing to complement the win condition would be to set an exit rule and a fight rule in play as well. The exit rule is when you all come to an agreement and you all say, we'll exfil once this one thing happens. And that thing could be once you all have full backpacks. It could be once you all completed the mission that you needed to do. It could be after you all have taken 2 to 3 PvP fights and again, your backpacks are full and you don't want to continue pushing your luck. It can be anything. Make sure you set that exit rule though. And then your fight rule. Your fight rule can be anything such as choosing to fight only if you all are the initiators. It could be picking your fights only when you all have enough intel on the opposition. It can be only choosing to fight when you all know you have an advantage, like you all have high ground or have the opportunity to team shot somebody, anything along the lines of that. Once you all set those 3 things, that's literally going to eliminate like 80% of mid-raid arguing. And I don't know, I just made up that number, but that's what I can safely assume. Kind of piggybacking off of that though, the next thing you should keep in mind is you should possibly consider running a simple role and comms protocol, even if it's with your homies. And with this, I would encourage you all to keep it super simple. You all can have an IGL, or if that sounds a little too nerdy or esportsy, then you could just call them a shot caller, right? The person that is dictating where we go, when we go, so on and so forth. And then around that shot caller, decide who's going to be more of that anchor role. And if you're unaware, that anchor person is the individual that is watching everybody six. They're looking for flanks and they're looking for the opposition to move in at any moment's notice. And then that third player can be a bit of a freebie, right? That third player can be a second anchor. They can be more of a scout that pings anything and everything, or they can just fit whatever need that team needs in particular. No pressure either way though. And then from a communication standpoint, I would encourage you all to always keep comms brief first, and then you can further explain later, right? An example would be if you're getting shot from the right and you know that the right is northwest 320 on the map, just say I'm taking shots or getting shot from northwest 320, right? You don't have to say, oh my gosh, I'm getting shot from high ground on my right side. I think my right side is to the northwest, and I think the northwest rests at 320 degrees. That's too much info. Getting shot from northwest 320, right? That at least lets your teammates know what's going on, where the opposition may be coming in from. That lets the anchor know, hey, a flank may be incoming from, who knows, like the north, or they may have rotated around to the south, whatever the case may be. You all can get in position and get ready to fight that gunfight though, you know? The third thing I would like for us all to keep in mind here will be that you should treat sound and spacing like it is one of the most important things in the world, especially if you are new to this extraction shooter genre. Do not stack yourself shoulder to shoulder with your teammates, right? If you all are shoulder to shoulder behind a box or in a corridor, all it will take is for a few grenades thrown to have you all wiped or have you all really low, and all we have to do is come in and clean you up, right? You always want to move like you are being watched, because more times than not, you are being watched. So make sure you're playing cover accordingly. Make sure you always have a place to retreat to. Just don't get caught willy-nilly out in the open, man. It's just, oh, it's gonna be a bad look. And remember, if you are being ridiculously loud for no reason, you are advertising. You are asking people. You're saying, please just come and shoot me, or hit me with a grenade, or just do something. Just take me out of my misery. But when you are a bit more on the silent end, you are the one that can choose when to fight and when to make plays. You see what I'm saying? The next thing I would love for us all to keep in mind is to remember, resetting a fight is a-okay. You know, most squads get put down because they repeat over and over and over again. And even when they're weak, they'll try to recommit to that fight, and that is not good at all. That's no bueno. So don't be afraid to make it a team habit to reposition if things get really funky. Make sure you use util to smoke yourself out, or to give you a little bit more cover, or to just ultimately break that line of sight as well. And put yourself in a position where you only decide to re-engage once you have more information or you have an advantage on the opposition. And look, if the opposition gives you no openings, you got to know when to retreat and live to fight another day. Sometimes full disengagement is the best way to win a gunfight. Now, this next thing I want for us to keep in mind, this is a little bit more so optional, but I think this may be the best way to experience and go through this. I would say it's probably in your best interest to pick one lane and to just roll through it at least to a point. And I'm talking about this from a contractual standpoint. So we all know that we're going to have 5 available factions here in the server slam, and upon release of Marathon, we're going to have 6 total factions. And I'm going to keep it a buck. That can be a lot to navigate if you go from CyberAcme to NuCaloric to Arachne to MIDA, and you just bounce around from contract to contract. That sense of progression can feel a bit halted. It can be a lot to bite off when you're doing all those various things. So I would encourage you all to find a lane and to knock out 5 missions in that lane in succession. This will help you further develop that nice sense of progress there. And also it can kind of help contribute to a flow. Like imagine this, and I'll make up something real quick. Let's say you start with the Arachne faction and the first mission is to take out an enemy runner. The next mission is to take out 2 enemy runners with headshots. The third mission is to take out an enemy runner with a grenade. And I'm just making up stuff here. But if you're in a nice PvP flow, why break that up? You know what I'm saying? You might as well knock out Arachne mission after Arachne mission after Arachne mission, and then be able to progress and upgrade upon their respective tree and keep moving and grooving. But if we're spreading ourselves thin, where we complete an Arachne contract, then a MIDA contract, then a NuCaloric contract, again, like we are making progress, but we won't be able to, or I'll say we might not be able to have quality progression in each respective upgrade tree. I don't know if that quite makes sense. In my head it does. It may not make sense, and if it doesn't, just completely disregard, all right? The next thing I would really love for us to keep in mind is the whole idea of learning the maps, okay? And I guess what I mean is really paying attention to every single bit and piece of a map, even outside of the respective POIs, so that way we know how to play each situation accordingly. This is going to help you in so many cases. You're going to know where certain pieces of loot may spawn. You're going to know when and where you should take fights and where and when you should not take fights. You're going to learn when you disengage where the closest exfil is going to be. And yeah, I know you can open up the map and find it, but if you know there's a certain exfil that you much rather take a fight by because you can easily disengage and get up out of there to live to fight another day, then that is going to be so much more helpful for you than if you're fighting at the furthest point away from an exfil. There's only 2 minutes left on the clock, and now you don't know what you're going to do to be able to get off of the map. At that point, you're pretty much done. It's pretty much game over, you know what I'm saying? So paying attention to the map structure, the architecture, everything that's going on a particular map will be ideal for success. The 7th thing I want for us to keep in mind here will be to build some semblance of discipline around your inventory value, okay? And this is more so targeted towards my gear fear homies or my first-time extraction shooter players. Most first-timers either hoard everything they find and then they die with a lot, or they do nothing but take gunfights when they're completely broke and they lose and they never make any type of progress. I would encourage you all to follow a very, very simple rule. If your bag is looking good by your standards, then don't be afraid to play it a little bit safer. If your overall loot haul isn't looking the best, then feel free to take more calculated risks. We all have a little bit of common sense, at least I hope we all have a little bit of common sense, so don't be afraid to apply it here. And do not bite off more than you can chew, because when you do, man, oh man, that hurts the soul. And the last thing I want for us all to keep in mind is that the proximity chat is a weapon, not just this novelty item that's only meant for LOLs. And you may be like, Craig, man, what are you even talking about, man? Proximity chat is proximity chat. And I would say, yes, it is, but also you can use it like another piece of your artillery. For example, if you're in a gunfight and things are looking like they're at a stalemate, you can hop on prox chat and say, yo, look, we're going to get third partied if we keep this up, white flag it, right? You can say something along the lines of that, or you can bait them to talk to find out where they are. And if you find out where they are, then you can go ahead and adjust your positioning accordingly and continue on that gunfight, or you can peel away from them, right? Because there's location-based proximity chat. If I hear somebody upstairs and I'm talking and I'm downstairs, then I know, okay, look, I'm weak, my teammates are gone, this is a 1v3 situation, I'm not going to win, I got a pretty nice haul, I'm going to talk a little bit of trash or mess with them, whatever, have them constantly talking on prox chat, and I'm going to try to run And once I hear their voice faint, I know, okay, I might be somewhat safe. Let me get to an exfil. Let me get the heck out of here so I can get the homies back in and we can jump into another raid. So again, proximity chat, yes, we can LOL and have some fun with it, but it's not only for that. It can really be a useful tool when you tap in and you use your noggin a bit, you know? And folks, with this all being said, I'm gonna shut up now. I gave you all some game and I hope you all can take something from this video and apply it in some capacity. If you cannot, I apologize truly for wasting your time. But if you got something out of this, please make sure to like the video, to help your boy out algorithmically, subscribe for much more marathon content to come in the future. Hey, look, even hype the video. You all can use hype points. And if you ask me, Cray, how do we hype the video? I don't really know. I would hope you all already know, or you all can figure it out. I would appreciate it so much. And look, even if you don't do any of that, I still love you and I appreciate you for coming and watching. If you all have any more things to keep in mind, drop them in the comments below so we can help one another. And until next time, it's been your boy Cray. We are signing out and I'll catch you all in the next one.